Right now, you're probably thinking about your kid's college fund, their SAT prep, maybe which elite university will give them the best shot at success. But here's what nobody's telling you. By the time your child graduates, a Harvard degree might actually hurt their career prospects. I'm not talking about some distant future. I'm talking about the next 10 to 15 years. While you're following the old playbook, AI is rewriting all the rules. And the parents who figure this out first, their kids are going to own the future. I'm Evan Goldstein. I'm a licensed professional engineer and a data scientist. I'm building AI Capitalist to talk to the leaders and the thinkers, like you, about navigating this brave new world of thinking machines. Previously, we mapped out how globalization and AI automation dismantled the 9-to-5 model, and it eroded the foundations of pensions, corporate training, and lifetime careers. Now it's time to move beyond diagnosis and explore actionable strategies for thriving in this AI-driven economy. In this episode, I'll share how I'm shifting from analysis to hands-on guidance and the key lessons that I've distilled from working with organizations of different sizes, and the first steps you can take to integrate AI into your operations effectively.
By the way, my own motivation for building AI Capitalist, we're now moving into consulting.
After seeing leaders wrestle with theory but struggle in practice, I realized that direct advisory was the missing link.
There will always be some salaried positions at big organizations, but they're going to become incredibly rare and honestly degrading. It's going to be like one of those old factory towns where there are always long lines of people waiting outside desperate for work. If you didn't accept poor treatment and terrible conditions and whatever they demanded, they could just point to the line and say, one of those people is going to take your job for less. When you have access to workers anywhere in the world, that dynamic gets even worse. But with AI, the situation becomes completely different. The people I know who dismiss AI and say, it's really not that good at thinking, it's not that capable. So these are the people who haven't used it recently. They tried it 2 years ago when it first came out, had a bad experience, and they never went back. Now my response is always, try it again. Use the current models, the paid versions. Now, when these people tried it originally, what were they even testing it with? Probably something like, tell me a joke or a basic conversation, and then concluding that it's useless. They're not asking it to do actual work. We use it constantly. Say, hey, help me understand these tax documents, or draft an executive summary on this topic, or give me research links on this subject, or create artwork for our title cards. I use it for tax help all the time. It's very good at translating legalese into plain English, which is genuinely useful. I use it for examining building codes as an engineer. I'll ask systems like Grok, what topics would my audience want to hear? And then I get excellent suggestions. Instead of hiring researchers, I use Perplexity to find comprehensive information on any subject. A lot of the videos that I use, they used to be outsourced, or I would find B-roll online from sources. Now I generate a lot of it, and it's genuinely better and more engaging. So artificial intelligence needs to be used effectively. And to use AI effectively, you have to understand multiple systems and know which is best for each task. So that's why businesses adopting AI would do well to consult with experts who understand these nuances, because choosing the wrong model for specific tasks can carry a real risk. You can learn more about strategic AI adoption at www.aicapitalist.biz. Artificial general intelligence is obviously coming fast. For at least 20 years, we've watched technology make more and more human work obsolete. Now, even the most elite human skills are about to become unnecessary. And if you ask AI systems about this, they actually underestimate how much they're going to replace human jobs. I asked ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, and Perplexity what jobs would remain primarily human. They all said things like counseling, therapy, and creative arts. That's complete nonsense. We already have AI doing therapeutic work. The most popular features on AI chat platforms are therapy bots, and people prefer them to human therapists. And what was the first thing that showcased real AI capability? It was art generation. Now, people complain that AIs are just probability calculators spitting out safe answers, but isn't that exactly what you want most of the time? From a therapist, I don't want some edgy experimental thing. I want the average of what all good therapists might say. Actually, they give you the most helpful answer, not just the average one. And that's what I'm looking for. There was this great study about people who claim to hate AI art, but when researchers showed them two pieces of art without identifying which was AI generated, these same people consistently choose the AI art over the human created work. And of course they did, because a lot of people are just willfully ignorant. They have this belief that the world can't really change that much and that technology can't be that powerful. It's bizarre. It's like they've decided not to engage with reality. But those of us raising kids need to face the facts. AIs are going to be better than humans at most tasks. So when our children think about education, about preparing for adult life, the last thing they want to be is someone who outputs average answers. This is what's going to differentiate humans from AI. Being generally competent at everything is what AI does best. Actually, some of the AI outputs that I've seen put it perfectly. It was humans will hold an edge in areas rooted in emotional connection, physical presence, and cultural nuance, and subjective experience. That's not a whole lot of areas, but niche is going to be king. AI is going to dominate mass markets. So those of us who want to emerge successful on the other side of this should focus on small, passionate audiences who are willing to pay for human expertise or connection. So how would you raise your kid in an AI world? First, our children need to grow up AI native. You shouldn't be afraid of them having some AI friends. They need to use AI to solve every problem. Everything they do should incorporate AI. They need to be integrated with these systems. On the other end of the spectrum, I would be happy for them to apprentice with contractors, fixers, plumbers, electricians, pest control specialists to learn physical problem solving. This is going to be crucial later in their careers. Whether they want to fall back on being an electrician or use those skills in more complex ways, physical trades are going to stay relevant. You can start your own business in those areas. Find someone to apprentice with, even for free. Make it a key part of their education. It's important that they build a strong network with other high agency people doing similar things. This is essential for any entrepreneurial venture to succeed. People are only going to work with humans because those humans have a reputation, or if they come with recommendations, or there's something special about them. AI is going to do everything better. So the only reason that someone chooses you is because you're like a micro celebrity in your niche. You have to be distinctive and memorable. Also, be the person who starts gatherings in your networks. Organize vacations, events, community activities. AI pointed out that humans still do well with cultural events and gatherings. You could be an event organizer or retreat coordinator or someone who builds communities that people pay to join because they need human connection. This could be incredibly niche stuff. People make real money organizing these communities, but you have to build reputation first. The most important thing, and this will probably show up in multiple micro companies, is learning to physically build things that people want to have made by humans. Think of why is Amish furniture so popular? Because it's handmade. So in the future, you might have custom drones or home security systems or bespoke AI fitness coaches, people who craft AI companions with the right prompts and physical robotics. There will be a market for people who design AI celebrities, just like there are VTube creators right now who are skilled at character design. Maybe everyone has a generic AI assistant, but some people want a pink AI companion that holds a parasol and speaks with a British accent. Someone has to create that. There will probably also be huge interest in historic methods of making things like home, or like the Amish furniture that we mentioned earlier, or hand-sewn clothing, or even weaving the textiles, artisan manufacturing. People who are excited about luxury brands aren't going to be buying the obvious designer labels anymore. They're going to be interested in companies that obsess over Japanese knife forging techniques and traditional craftsmanship. In the future, it's going to be about niche celebrity craftspeople, a niche celebrity tattoo artist, a niche celebrity whatever maker. That's why it's crucial that our kids get excellent with AI and build strong public personas and networks and learn physical problem solving early so they can become comfortable with robotics and electronics. And if you're getting value from this video, I would appreciate it if you push the like button. Pressing like lets me know that I'm making content you want to see and helps spread that content to others. So thank you for helping us break AI capitalists out of small channel hell. Now, there's another element for some kids who have the right interests, and that's STEM fields. Claude pointed out that AGI is going to unleash entirely new scientific discoveries that smart, entrepreneurial, and adventurous people can act on in ways that AI alone might not be able to manage. You need to connect breakthrough technology with high agency people who can bring that into reality. So let's say that AI discovers an amazing new therapeutic treatment. If you or your kid are well connected with great investors or other scientists, they can start marketing customized versions to people within their network. I don't care if it's regulated or not, because that's not going to matter much in the future. We know that AGI is going to create an extremely wealthy 0.00001%, and everyone else who's basically going to be struggling. We need to be valuable to the wealthy network. Building community that people want to be a part of is incredibly important for where we're headed. In the old days, you could go to elite schools like Stanford or Cambridge, and that automatically gets you into certain networks. That's just not going to be true for the next generation. People who are investing in Harvard degrees right now, those credentials might not matter as much historically, if at all. They might even be seen negatively in some communities, viewed as trying to play it safe and potentially invalidating. For a lot of people that right now, this isn't being accounted for. People say that it's better to get a Harvard degree to be safe. But you don't know if in 20 years that's going to be seen as a strict negative for positions of power and authority in society. There's already suspicion around traditional credentials. You can see the administration's battle with Harvard and with all the elite universities right now. I wouldn't be surprised if the next generation, not this generation, but the next one, if for them, having gone to an elite university hurts career prospects if you had other options. You're much better off building community within online environments and networks. It might become a liability because some people will just ask, didn't you have something better to do? With AGI available, this idea that you'd slow down your life by 3 or 4 years just to get what's essentially a passport stamp seems suspicious. It implies a lack of drive, a lack of creativity, and an unwillingness to take initiative and build something yourself. I understand why people do it now, because we live in this mixed world where some people are fully living in the future and other people are still following the old rules. Now, in those elite pockets, you still have to play by those old rules. And that level of self-motivation is something that you're responsible for teaching as a parent. Traditional school systems can't create that, and they're incentivized not to make rote little bricks in the wall. If their only motivation is that I'll get into trouble if I don't do this, then that won't exist when they graduate. Look at celebrity children who are struggling with addiction and purposelessness. The percentage who just wash out completely. If we're looking at communities where UBI, universal basic income, or some derivative of it has been tried, we can look at examples in some Native American communities, and wherever it's happened long term, these communities have deteriorated. We're talking about situations where only 1 in 4 people work. It's like you can also look at celebrity children struggling with addiction and purposelessness. The percentage who just wash out completely is very high. We don't even need to look at disadvantaged communities because someone will always argue about systemic disadvantages. But look at people who inherited the best privileges, every advantage, all the money, all the connections. Most of them end up as nobodies because they expected it to continue, not just for them, but for their children. Those who weren't given the luxury of living off inherited wealth generally turned out fine. It's the ones who grow up with trust funds who wash out. There's an unspoken tradition in some wealthy families. If you're not doing well, don't come home. They don't help the ones who don't succeed. Now, this pattern is very important. If you look at wealth, the very wealthy people, or very motivated people like Elon Musk, his father was successful, but Elon never benefited because his father is problematic. His dad actually owned emerald mines that Elon could have relied on, but if he could have relied on those, then he probably wouldn't have achieved nearly as much. He wouldn't have had the motivation. And this isn't just an American thing. People I've known who are successful in Latin America and Asia show similar patterns. And this pattern is going to reinforce itself in the next economic system too. There's nothing worse you can give somebody than a safety net, than unearned financial stability. There are some exceptions. Sometimes unforeseen events require family support. Occasional help can make a real difference. The type of advantage matters, and it depends on timing and context. Occasional support when someone's working hard, that can be good. A guaranteed safety net is pretty destructive. It's like training a puppy. If you always rescue them from every challenge, they never learn to solve problems on their own. But if you let them struggle a bit and figure it out, they can develop confidence and skills to handle whatever comes next. Kids who are growing up today don't have the luxury of depending on institutional safety nets that are already crumbling. But that's not necessarily bad news. It just means that they'll have to become resourceful and creative and genuinely valuable to other people. They'll have to build real skills and real relationships instead of just checking boxes and following scripts. There's actually a more interesting life than what most of us had. It's also scarier, but scary isn't always bad. Sometimes scary is exactly what you need to become the person that you're capable of being. The factory town promise was always an illusion. The job promise is the same illusion. It's just dressed up in modern clothing. But the opportunity to create something real, something that belongs to you or to your children, something that can't be taken away by economic shifts or technological change, that's not an illusion. That's what we're really preparing for. Not the world that we grew up in, but the world that our children are going to live in. And honestly, once you see it clearly, it's not scary anymore. It's exciting. Because for the first time in human history, a kid with a laptop and an internet connection has access to tools that are more powerful than what entire corporations had just 20 years ago. They don't need permissions from gatekeepers or credentials from institutions or approvals from managers. They just need to understand the game that's actually being played instead of the game that we keep pretending is still happening.